All right, welcome to episode 87 of the CosCast. Hello. Yay. I am, as always, your main host, Pixie Dust Cosplay, and with me I have my two co-hosts.
Annabella Cosplay.
Yeah. Hi, ladies, and also our special guest, Rick, the Dungeon Master.
That's not my Tinder profile.
But yeah, we'll also be joined by his lovely wife, Ingrid Beast Cosplay, who will also be talking to us tonight. She's just getting ready, so she'll be joining us soon. So while we wait for her, let's just go into our regular segments before we go into our main theme, which is how to get into tabletop role-playing games. So have we been working on anything cosplay related during the past week?
I've bought 8 meters of mock-up fabric from IKEA, and it's amazing. It's so much fabric. And it only cost me like 238 krones. So I can make a lot of stuff with that. And I also bought Kami's blueprints from her shop online for Diva's gun from Overwatch. And I tried to get it printed, but I don't have a printer and it didn't work. So I'm have to try to do it again because it kind of, cut the half of the thing. But it will work. I'm going to make it work.
Eventually it will work.
We believe in you.
Thank you.
Yes. Hi, Ingrid. Welcome.
Hi. Thank you.
Have you been working on anything cosplay related this week?
No, I'm kind of swamped down with Arthurcon work and a commission for a friend who's getting married. So that's kind of taking full precedence, and I'll be really, really itching to start working on cosplay after Arthurcon. And that's going to be a lot of fun because I got some exciting projects, which will be a surprise.
Nice.
We're looking forward to seeing it. Tonya, how about you?
You know what? This week I've been swamped after work, so I've gotten home, eaten dinner, and just lay sleeping on the couch, then go to bed. So I have not.
Especially an Irish holiday.
Yeah, no, I've been working full time like for the past 2 or 3 weeks. So that has not been good for my my fatigue or whatever it is I'm suffering from. So on Friday I just collapsed at home and my body went like nope. So I couldn't go to work. I was just in bed until it was like 1:50 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So that wasn't fun. So I haven't really gotten to work on anything, but I have got a makeup mirror finally that I can actually use when I sit on the couch to do my makeup because I hate doing my makeup in the bathroom.
Yeah, because it's
I
so
hate
much
that too.
people right in the bathroom. It's much nicer to go over to a window to do your makeup.
I know, but the light is good in my bathroom. It's just that I get so tired from standing in front of the mirror. So it's a really pathetic reason for getting a mirror.
But then I have a solution for you, because we do have a mirror from the bottom of the floor to the top to the ceiling. So when you guys are staying over at my house when we're getting ready for Arthurcon, we can all sit on the floor.
Yay! That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Yes. And I also bought myself an Easter egg because I'm going to make a modified like cosplay inspired Easter egg this year. Last time I made Dr. Cat. I don't know what to make this year, but it'll be something fun. And yeah. So that's pretty much everything I've been able to do this week. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much everything. Rick, I assume you haven't been working on anything cosplay related this week?
Aha! Well, I kind of have. Oh, getting some feedback here.
Yeah.
I kind of have. It's more that I've been working on my first cosplay, my first proper cosplay at least, which is Ogren from Dragon Age Origins. I have 10 weeks to finish it.
What are you
'cause I'm-
using it for?
MCM,
Oh.
my first proper con, and I've chosen a extremely misogynistic, slightly racist, alcoholic dwarf. It'll be great fun. He's red-haired as well.
Yes, he is. That'll be interesting to see. Good luck on that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Theodore also says, good luck on making your cosplay then.
Thank you.
I wonder why we got a feedback all of a sudden.
It's because me and Ingrid are in the same room, and voice capture is a bit too good.
Yeah.
And Rick's got a, booming voice.
Thank you.
Ranadev also says in the chat, oh my god, Ogren. Hearts.
Yes.
Thunder Upper. Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about news from the cosplay community.
Uh-huh.
So, about Arthicon first, because it's coming up pretty soon. You can sign
Don't
up
remind
for the
me.
Yeah. Poor Ingrid. You can now sign up for the costume workshop that will be hosted by Hiresatai Cosplay and Superhero Girl Creations at Arthicon 2. There are limited spaces, so you have to sign up beforehand, and there's a fee for materials and something like that. So, but I highly recommend it if you're not really used to sewing projects and stuff. They'll be making hoods.
Uh-huh.
So that'll be very cool.
Also, Arthicon has posted a new competition so you can win tickets. So if you haven't got your ticket yet, then check out Arthicon's page on Facebook, and you can find the rules for the competition there.
Cool. Let's see. Yes, the next. Jim Broadbent. You might all know him as Professor Slughorn from the Harry Potter universe. He's playing an Archmaester. Yeah. We can hear you.
Storm.
Just take your mic a little away from your mouth.
But yes, Jim Broadbent, Professor Slughorn, is going to play an Archmaester in 5 of the 7 episodes in Game of Thrones this year. So that's exciting. And also, we now know that the show is premiering on the 17th of July. So I'm feeling all the hype. I don't know about you guys.
Was I the only one who watched Ice Melt on Facebook on...
Yes.
Because Game of Thrones, they posted this video with ice melting, and they blew fire on it, and it was like TV screens underneath ice, and you had to write like fire, fire, fire in the chat to make the ice melt faster, so you could get the date of the premiere. It was really fun.
Such nerds.
But it was amazing because the music was so good. It was like they had, it was like choir and, Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
So much exciting.
Yeah. We're doing Game of Thrones cosplays for TrotoCon this year too, so we're super excited for that. Okay. Cool.
I wasn't the only one to watch Ice Melt. Cecilia did that too.
Yeah.
This is going to be a new character as well, isn't it? Because he hasn't written about this character much in the books. So,
Jim Broadbent's character? Yeah. No, he's only because when Sam goes to the Citadel to become a Maester, he talks to this Archmaester who then sets out to find Daenerys or something like that. That's all I know.
Yeah, I was going to say the character he's playing has largely it's completely new. So the Benisoff, what's the name? The producers of the actual series are going to have to really do something special for this one. Because now we've got a situation where they're going to show it on the screen, and then we're going to read about it in the book. It's going to be weird. It's
going to be very, very weird. Let's see. Yeah. Pressfire has written a review about the Switch and can also report that the Switch is so far selling better than any other Nintendo console so far, including the Wii. So that's pretty exciting. And I'll be linking to that review if anyone is interested in reading it after the episode. And then also, I want to talk a little bit about Fate Swain. which is our sister group in the Dragon Age role-playing game series that we've started on YouTube. And so we're in the group called Fateful Fumble, and Ingrid Beast is in the group called The Fate Swain. And they recently live streamed their first episode on Friday, so everyone should go check that out on their YouTube and Facebook account called Betrayal Raven.
Betrayal!
And I have to say, I haven't seen the entire episode, but I'm like 3 hours in, and you guys are so funny and so cute. And I nearly died at what was it, devil porridge or something at some point. I just, what is this all about? And yeah, no, it was really funny. So everyone should go definitely check out it.
Spoilers. I haven't watched it yet because I just started watching Critical Role.
Ah, right. You have a lot of entertainment ahead of you.
I'm watching Critical Role now as well. I'm on episode 19, I think, or something. So, yeah. I've got a lot of catching up to do.
It's replaced Netflix and chill. Apparently, it's now just Critical Role and Critical Role. That's just, who needs sleep? Just watch it all night.
For the Fate Swain, though, watch out for the moment where, let's just say that some misunderstood knowledge about human agriculture cracked Marianne.
Also, Ranirav says in the chat, elf flip got me good. So I'm guessing elf flip is something that happened in the episode as well.
And we're not going to talk about what it is, so people are just going to have to see the episode to find out what we're talking about. Stay there.
No, I will explain one thing. They are both of the games, Fateful Fumble and the Fate Swain, are both in the same canon, so they have the same Inquisitor, because it's set during the age of the rise of the Inquisition. They've got the same Inquisitor, they've got the same things are happening. It's all set just south of Tevinter, between Ostwick and just north of the Gislead Fields. Look it up, it's on the map. So it does dance around with the main canon, but it doesn't really interfere with events from the computer games.
Yeah.
The Fate Swain one is more about main characters dealing with some huge thing that's about to happen around them. Meanwhile, we've got the Kestrels, which is these three here, who are currently working for Liliana, or aka the Nightingale, in the city of Ostwick.
There's still a lot of feedback. I'm sorry. I try muting Ingrid a little bit when Rick is talking, just so we don't get the feedback. But I don't know if it's working.
Yeah, that helped. It worked.
It helped. Okay.
Did it work? Oh yeah, it does work. God, Ingrid, you can't.
I accidentally pressed it on again.
Can everyone hear me all right?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Poor sods.
Yeah. So we'll just have to operate around that today, I think.
It's fine. We'll just take turns. We'll tag in and out.
Yeah, tag in and out. That's a good idea.
But devil porridge, that's because of a certain person doing a blooper reel and swearing in Norwegian, and it translates roughly as devil porridge.
Exactly.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
I've never heard that swear word ever. But
she's Bergen.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay,
it was new to me too, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so the last bit of news before we move into our main theme is that the CosCast, us, obviously, we're going to be official guests at Unicon New Light on Saturday the 25th. Yay! And we're going to be doing like not a panel, but a lecture or a talk about cosplay and self-development. So that's going to be a heavy subject, but we think we're going to be able to make it fun as well. So anyone who's going to Unicon, drop by and say hi and come see our talk. That would be super awesome.
We also might show you, I'm just going to give you a teaser of what this is going to be about. Also, it might involve the insides of our first cosplay. So
lots of pictures of how horrible our first cosplays were. Absolutely.
Unicon is a really sweet convention way. I was there last year and it was a lot of fun. So yeah, I can recommend it.
Yeah.
It's a really cozy convention and people are very friendly.
Yeah, we've never been there, so we're super excited about being invited. And we were going to go to both days of Arthicon originally, but since they invited us, we figured, okay, we'll just have to split our time. So we're doing Unicon on Saturday and Arthicon on Sunday.
Because we're busy.
Yes, super busy. Oh goodness. So yeah, that we're super excited about that. So so people should definitely come.
Yes, I have two things I want to say just for the
yes.
news bit. And
Go
the
ahead.
first thing is that go to YugiCon. That is this Saturday. That's an amazing con, and if you don't know what that's about, watch our episode from the week we had before last time. Yes, thank you. And the second piece of news is that Rainbow Textile is having a new sale. It starts the 15th of March, which is this week, and I don't know how long it lasts, but it usually lasts a week or two, I guess. But
it lasts till the 25th.
Thank you.
So from Wednesday this week till Saturday next week.
Yeah, and you
So
should
a week
check
and
it
a half.
out. They have like up to 75% off on certain textiles, so you can save a lot of money.
Yes, and they also opened a new shop. Rainbow Textile has a new shop on Grønland in Oslo, so check it out.
Yes, you can, save money unless you buy a lot of fabric. Then you
That
can
is
save
true.
anything.
Yeah. Sample asks, does anyone know if the sale is also online? No, I don't think so, because they usually have it from a stock room that they only open up during the sale. But you can check their online store and see if they actually have a sale there too. You never know. Cecilia says, nope, only in the shop. Sorry. All right. That's pretty much everything in the news department. So let's move on to our main theme. So, Aniasia, maybe you want to do like the first questions?
Yeah. One moment, please.
Bad timing. Bad timing.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. The first question is kind of for all of us, and that is, what kind of RPG background do we all have? Who wants to start? Maybe the one with the most experience, like Rick, who's currently busy.
I think sounds like they're a little bit busy.
We have a solution to our problem. Bear with me 1 second.
Good.
We just,
Maybe
go
one
on.
of us start then.
Yeah.
The question.
One
I'm
of
just
us-
going AFK. AFK.
Yeah, cool. That's
It's
okay.
I can start, Joe.
Yeah, you can start.
I do not have a lot of RPG experience. In fact, the first RPG experience from my part is when I actually were invited to Sunniva and her
X. It's okay to
ex-boyfriend.
say.
And that was, Dungeons and Dragons. That was my first experience. I don't know how many years it's, but
I think it was in 2011 because it was that year when me and my hubby was living in the UK because of university.
Yeah.
maybe, yeah, something like that. Anywho, I remember it was thrilling because I didn't know these people, obviously, and this wasn't something I'd done before, so I was super tense. Like, oh my god, I'm so good, embarrass myself. But anywho, I tried. I think it was very hard the first time for me. I don't know why. Maybe because I wasn't experienced, and it was only that one time, so didn't really got any chance to delve deeper into it. Sadly.
And also, we had already started that campaign. I think you tagged along on maybe the third time we played or something. And when a story already has started, it might be harder to get into it.
Yeah, but besides, I don't. And since all of you guys who were already there, maybe have played it several times before. And then me as a noob coming along, and of course I think the level of the RPG session was a bit too high for me. Wasn't as beginner friendly, I guess. And besides that, I have tried a few other times with one time I was visiting Trine Santatori in also with her ex-boyfriend. Then we tried Pathfinder, and it was fun. I liked it then. And then I played like this elven male. I do like to play the elf males. And he was very charming, got to, fool around with a lot of ladies. It was fun. But that was also just one time because, distance. And of course, I'm playing with you guys. And yeah, that's pretty much my experience.
Cool.
I've
Oh, Shabby?
played. I think I started playing with Anita and her boyfriend and 2 other people. We started Vampire the Masquerade, and then we did. And then I just think we had 1 or 2 sessions with that, because then we jumped over to a D&D. And then we started Pathfinder, and then they moved to England, so we had to start a group of our own. So we played D&D a while there, and I also had a group in Tromsø. So it was a while there when we had a lot of groups going on. But right now, we only have the Fateful Fumble, and we have another Pathfinder group that I'm currently in, and I really, really like it. It's really fun.
I've seen some of the dice shaming from Anita from that one.
I roll so badly.
It's okay. I've been watching Will Wheaton.
Yeah.
It's fine. You're good.
Yes, I'm good. As long as I'm not on a scale from 10 to Will Wheaton, where are you in dice rolling? I'm probably at like a 2 or a 3.
Wow. Never go full Wheaton.
Never go full Wheaton. Hi, nobody just signed on. So we have a lot of viewers tonight. That's nice.
Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah. Sample and Eden
lovely.
and so yeah, Kitty Petro. Everyone's here. But yeah, I started role playing when I was 15, I think.
Ooh.
And now I'm 29, so it's been a few years. I started playing with some guys that were basically my only friends in like I guess it was junior high or high school or whatever the equivalent would be, ungdomsskolen. And we played Dungeons and Dragons in his mom's basement, and then it moved on from there. So I played pretty much Vampire the Masquerade, Werewolf, a little bit of World of Darkness, Pathfinder, and Dragon Age now, and Dark Heresy from the Warhammer universe. Just a little bit of everything, really.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I have a lot of years of experience, and that means that I sometimes can get a little bit intense on the role-playing side.
Yeah, I know.
Nothing wrong in that.
And also the metagaming. You're very
Yes.
good at that.
Yes, I need to get better at
I'm
that.
sorry, what does very good at metagaming mean? What is the good part of metagaming?
Well,
You
it's
do it a lot.
ironic. I do it a lot, unfortunately. Just because, when other people who are not quite as experienced have to make hard choices, and I'm like, oh God, I need to tell you because I know things.
You're such an Hermione, and also you get too excited, and you get like, yeah, we have to do that. It's like, Anita, you don't understand this language that these people are talking right now, so just
Shut up! Shut up! Yeah. So
It's
I
fortunate
get
then that
really
your character is a know-it-all.
yes.
in
Yes.
the Dragon Age game.
I'm sticking to my wheelhouse.
But I
Nice
guess
place.
easily choose characters that in some way resemble to themselves in some small part.
Way worse than me, thank goodness. Yeah. So how about Ingrid and Rick? How did you guys get into role-playing games?
I blame my father.
Yes.
He basically put me through a D&D solo adventure as soon as I was kind of old enough to comprehend it.
Wow.
And so I think I was probably 12. I was probably like primary school or something, first class or something. He raised me on The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings and all sorts in kindergarten, and I was like my head full of hobbits and elves and everything from quite an early age. And I used to read these books where you'd have like, it was some of them were fantasy, some of them were like history, and you read a chapter, and then at the end of the chapter there would be a choice, and you have to make a choice, and depending on your choice it would say go to page this and this, and another choice would say go to this page, and then you'd read on there, and that would determine the outcome of the book. So it was kind of a solo RPG thing, and I read a lot of those.
It's like choose your own adventure books.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty much. And then at the age of 14, I was allowed to sit in and watch my dad's Call of Cthulhu group. And I was 14, and his RPG group from the student RPG club at Arrefjellan. I think it's the the student pub where math heads and historians and stuff. No, not the historians. They go to basically people who do science and maths and stuff. They hang out there.
Do you used to do that?
No.
No, but they had a gaming club in that pub, and I was like allowed to come along and sit and watch my dad's group of students around 25 years old play Call of Cthulhu, which is a horror game. And eventually I was allowed to join in, and that was a campaign which lasted for I think about 2 years. And it was at the most we had around 9 active players in the room, and I think that was the point where my dad said this is too many people.
9 is a little bit too much.
Yeah, and from there I kind of just wanted to play more and started doing some of my own games, which didn't go as well. I kind of prefer to be a player and not a GM. I don't have the mindset for GMing. I love playing and just...
Masks of Neolartotep. Her first attempt at doing a GM thing with us was Masks of Neolartotep, arguably one of the most ambitious games to GM. Halfway through, she went through around...
I did not go
1/5 of the way through, going through around 15 players, and then she thought, this is a bit much for me. I don't think I'm a very good GM. And I'm sitting there thinking, I don't know how you got past week 1. I
guess it's more that I enjoy being a player more than being a game master. So yeah. I started young and I just never stopped.
Sounds good.
Sounds amazing. It's like I wish I was brought up like that. I did experience. Yeah, I did experience the same thing, only with like card games and football, because that was what my parents were into. I wish it was
I'm
like
a second generation tabletop role player.
Oh, so amazing, so amazing.
Parenting
goals.
Yes.
Yep.
My turn.
Your turn.
Oh gosh. Okay. 7 years ago, a long time ago, I was brought. This is my first memory of it, at least. I think I was roughly 11, 12. It was the first year of high school. via a friend, we got into a group with a group of higher in the year group. They were playing a game called Shadowrun, which I think was the 2nd or 3rd edition at the time. Not arguably the most difficult game to start off with, and that was, I suppose, the pull of it, because you needed a maths degree to understand the bloody combat system. Luckily, I didn't need to, because the GM was really good. And I think my first character, if I remember rightly, was a British elf helicopter pilot who was desperately trying to get lung cancer, but he couldn't. So he was just sitting there with her, just smoking. I had not seen Poison Elves by this point, by the way. I'm just saying. I wish I had found it back then, because I would have loved it. But that is pretty much where it ended until I got into college, where it was basically Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay or WFRP. Let me see. Jesus, going back a wee bit now. 4th edition Shadowrun. Did a touch of D&D for the first time. My first encounter was with the 3rd edition. Wasn't really impressed, but then again, it was a wrong group.
And it was 3rd edition.
The chemistry, wasn't it? Big, huge years playing World of Darkness. That was a lot of fun.
The best.
So much vampire and werewolf and mage.
Yeah. Old school mage, not the new one where you need to understand the font type to read the books. All that's about. But back in the old days where you could literally say, you're a lord of the vampires. Now you're a bubble.
Yeah, just make sure no one sees you do that.
Yeah, right. It was a dream.
It's okay as long as it's vampires, because they don't count.
Yeah, no, they don't count as people, so you don't paradox.
No.
If whoever sees you, you just inject with LSD. Seriously, it solves all the problems.
But let's not get too deep into that, because a lot of the people watching will probably not know what we're talking about, and it's not.
I don't know what you're talking about. So.
Moving swiftly on. Then it was Dark Heresy. Obviously, all the other type of Fantasy Flight RPGs, because Fantasy Flight are amazing with what they do. And then into Fate, which was an amazing little turn up. That was, if you haven't played it before, if you're a bit intimidated by math systems and you want something a bit more abstract, which is all about context and roleplay, that's a really good system to play around with. To put into perspective, your character is made up of expressions like alcoholic but really young, or the Han Solo factor of Jabba's got to be paid, but I'll come back for you, kid, where he disappears and comes back. You get rewarded for playing on your negative sides to fuel the powers for your positive sides, which is a great system. And then recently, Green Ronin's Dragon Age core system was released, where all 4 of the segments were nailed together into a great core book, which is very similar to D&D 5th edition, which I've also started playing with an amazing GM called Mark, big Danish Mark. But yeah, if you've played D&D, the Dragon Age book at the moment, based on Age, which is another good system, and yeah, you won't be disappointed, I don't think. Silence.
All the silence.
Yes.
All right.
The next question is more of a question for, I guess, maybe Anita and Rick and I don't know, and the more experienced RPG players of the group, and that is how to get a group together. What are good tips and tricks for getting a group together?
Right. I can start with just one simple basic thing that I found is that because you can use such amazing things as Skype or Google Hangouts, if you have friends that you know could be into RPGs or that are into RPGs, there is nothing wrong with Skyping your D&D sessions, because we've been Skyping with people in Tromsø and all around the country while we've been playing. So if you don't have a physical group you can meet up with in your town, you can find other people anywhere else to play with.
And also, if you kind of if you're afraid that the people you're playing with are going to cheat when they roll their dice, which shouldn't be a problem, you could always use like a dice emulator on your computer, so everybody can see what you're rolling.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I don't know.
And that tends to help a little bit on the Will Wheaton syndrome.
Yeah, because dice aren't perfect. They are perfectly random. Plus, some of us just being like this because I accused her outright of cheating. Because during the last game, her dice rolls were disturbingly good. And
It's
even when
just
she
because
rolled
I'm good at
badly-
Yahtzee. That's the only thing. I'm really good at Yahtzee.
Yeah, we've based some of our drinking game rules around your dice rolls. So
He's got dice rolling technique, you know? It's all in the fingers.
Yeah.
for
Not
sure.
the wrist. Oh dear God.
All right.
Yeah, fingers, wrist, whatever.
But that's one good tip. I don't know if Rick and Ingrid have another good tip for getting a group together.
Bribes and threats.
Alcohol.
I wouldn't say any of them were good.
No.
No.
But maybe they
But
work.
what does tend to help is being really enthusiastic about something, because if you know, for example, with the Dragon Age thing, we started talking about it, and then suddenly some of our friends in England were like, "Oh, this would be awesome!" And suddenly now we have a group in England and we have a group here in Norway. And so, if you know that you have some friends who have mutual interest, if it's like Dragon Age or maybe Witcher or some sort of
Setting,
game,
yeah.
then pretty much any setting can be turned into an RPG game. We have a friend now who's actually, I think it's using the 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, is turning the 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons into a Harry Potter RPG.
Hi, Miri.
And she's done some amazing work. And I mean, you can do that. There's no rules.
Yep.
Or, well, there's loads of rules, but you can choose how to use them. And for example, the fate system is really good for making new settings, because it's very versatile and you can adjust it to fit your needs. So finding a common interest or something that you geek out about. So if you're in a fandom, be it Supernatural or Harry Potter or Twilight or Hunger Games or whatever, if you have a fandom and you know other people in that fandom, then you know that's a really good way to get people to RPG with you.
Yeah. And also, if you
I got
want to infect your friends, I can recommend that you make them watch or listen to live streams or podcasts about RPGs like Critical Role or Dice Camera Action, or The Adventure Zone, which is a great podcast.
Fate Swain.
Yeah, and Fate Swain and
Fateful
Fumble. Yeah. Definitely. That's a really good way of getting into like the whole world of RPGs and getting to know the rules little by little without having to be like completely overwhelmed the first time you open a RPG book on your own.
Yeah. Don't be overwhelmed by the RPG rules. No one can memorize the rules from the get-go. Get that idea out of your head, no matter how many people tell you that.
Yeah.
Most people learn by something called kinesthetic learning. That's basically you getting on a bike, falling off, getting back on the bike, and riding it properly. It's learning by doing. So every time you roll those dice, every time you do that calculation or look at that piece of paper on the page, something clicks, it sticks, you get better at it. That's basically how you get awesome at the game. You don't need to keep going back every time, except if you have no sleep because you have 2 cats and you can't remember what your middle name is when you wake up. You were going to say?
Also, I know a lot of people get a little bit intimidated by the whole loads of numbers and math and stuff, because I'll admit, at least in games such as Dragon Age and Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, there is a lot of counting and dice and things that you have to add up. And yes, and although that is nowhere near as bad as the earlier editions or other games, it is an element that I know a lot of people get a bit intimidated by, because not everyone are good at math.
Oh my god, you guys.
But the thing is, if you have a good GM and you have good fellow players, they will help you out. They will help you out. If you're like, okay, I need help with this, they will basically help you, and you just roll the dice and they'll help you add stuff together, and you help each other because it's a team effort. It's something you do together and enjoy.
To answer your question, though, before we move on quickly, because we've lingered a bit, if you can't find any people in your area, there are a number of places where you can find gamers and play with them at a safe distance. We're talking about Roll20, which is a great interactive system. It's a bit heavy to get used to, but it enables you to simulate a battle map or all the other stuff via chat, hangouts, and all the rest of it. Also, if writing is more your thing than speaking, if you're a bit handy with narrative text, there is a fantastic website which I used to take part with called rpol.net. I'll make sure all these links are in the bottom after we're finished.
Yeah.
But there you can basically run a game using the emulator that Sunniva was talking about before, with simply just a forum design where you just write down what you're doing with a line of text saying what you rolled. It's great for those who, as we're going to talk about later, feel a lot of intimidation in getting to just role-playing a character, or even worse, heaven forfend, role-playing in front of people you don't even know, but otherwise, just pick a good game, go for it.
Yeah.
Simple.
And also, if you're not afraid of actually the whole role-playing thing, but you don't know anyone who's into it, you could also try going to gaming conventions like Archon in Norway, because they will have drop-in games where a seasoned dungeon master or storyteller will run a game that you can just do with a pre-made character just to get to know what the game is all about.
Also, Subsana in Oslo is having, I think once a month they have, or once a week, I don't remember, but they have this day where you can come and play either tabletop games or RPG games, and then you can, talk to people and get to know people.
And actually, just, in Jessheim, New Eden have nights with role-playing games where you can, get to role-play with others. It's like a, cosplay and geek cafe on the SM.
Yeah, New Eden.
Yeah.
Oh, it's up.
We'll just have to finish it then.
All right, let's move on to the next question.
Yes, let's do. How do you choose a game that is suitable for you and your group?
Right. That's a bit
We
tricky.
kind of went into it a little bit. I mean, it's all about fandoms, right?
It's a little bit about fandoms, but it's also a little bit about mechanics and rules, because some games are inherently more difficult than others to get into because of a lot of math and tough rules and difficult language in the source material.
Read reviews.
But like the first game I got into was Dungeons and Dragons, and it's really easy if you try to run what we call like a hack and slash campaign, which is heavy on action and not so much role play to begin with. And then when people feel more comfortable being in the game, then you can start adding more role play elements, I think is a good idea.
Yeah.
So D&D was a good starting point for me, at least.
I think D&D is a very good starting point for everyone in a way. Because it's in the middle ground. You have a lot of RPG elements where the way you roleplay your character is rewarded. Not as much as you might expect, but it's a great place where if you play a game of that, and then when you come to your next game and someone says, what do you want to play? And then you can actually say, I like D&D, but I'd like to play something that's more. And then you have an idea of where you're standing.
Yeah.
For example, you could say, I want to play something which is a bit more, I want more loot, I want more gear. I want my character to have like sets of armor plating. I want more control over the equipment. All right. Or I want less fiddling with the numbers and more focus on the social aspects, the actual role-playing part. That can really guide you to where you want to go.
And I will say also, when you've played one RPG game, it gets easier and easier to get into new games because they build on a lot of the same principles and rules. In general,
that's fun too.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, especially Mouse Guard. It's hilarious fun.
Like games I wouldn't recommend to start with straight off the bat are like Shadowrun or Middle Earth, the role-playing game, or Cyberpunk.
Hackmaster.
That's ridiculous.
Fatal.
Stay away from Hackmaster. Stay away from Rollmaster.
Those are.
They have rules for eating bread.
There you go. You don't want that. So, but vampires also is actually a good place to start, in my opinion. Because
I would say it depends on if you like to do a lot of role playing or if you just like to roll dice.
Yeah.
If you like to roll dice and make action happen and not so much focus on role play, maybe D&D is a better way to start. Vampires is much
I think
political.
also it would be a good idea to find out the dynamic of the group. Once you get together, find out what people enjoy doing, because if you have a group that's heavily on the sort of, they just want to collect XP and go up and level and loot and kill monsters, and not so much on the role-playing side of games, and you're one person in that group and you just really want to do all the intrigue stuff and romance the handsome bartender, then you're gonna be bored. You're not gonna have much fun. So communicate with the people in your group, find out what they like and what they want to do, and if it's not the type of stuff you enjoy, then you should consider whether or not it's a good idea to get involved, because it's better to just say, this isn't really my cup of tea at an early point, and then just do something else, instead of doing that sort of a quarter way through the game and then everyone's like, where'd you go? Rick wants to say something.
Yeah.
This is why D&D 5th edition is perfect for that, because everyone's class dictates your experience. So one of the things I love about the system is, unlike a lot of RPGs where you have, here is the rules and here is your character. In D&D 5th edition, it's like, these are the rules and here is your character. So, for example, I really didn't care much about magic. I still don't. In Dungeons and Dragons, I think magic causes more problems than it solves. But that's why I like to hit things with a stick until it dies from it. So I went for a barbarian berserker dragonborn, and I've never looked back. And it's an amazing experience, because your rules basically entail, hit it. I've gone up a level. Hit it again. Yes.
Rick likes to hit sticks hit things with sticks. That's how we got married.
That works.
So it's like,
yeah, that's a good point. That's quite all right. It was funny. It was worth it. But yeah, the class you choose to play will affect how you play the game later. Because if you choose a barbarian or a fighter, you will be more, usually lean more towards action and not thinking and talking too much. But if you are, let's say, a wizard or sorcerer or a bard, there will be more room for role playing and acting out, usually. But you can always go against class and be like a really chatty fighter.
Yeah, you multi-class too.
Yeah.
One of the things I've noticed with Dragon Age actually is that you don't really know a system until you try it, GM or player. Is that the mages in the 3 groups that were playing, Ingrid, I think Teresa, for example, had a longer learning curve. So did Trina, and I do believe you're having the same experience as well, Anita. I say mages, it's a lot more bookkeeping than like I roll the dice and the thing dies. With mages, it's like I pick a big spell and things go boom and I feel tired.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely have to make sure that, okay, I've not used all my points, or I haven't exhausted all my spells. So playing a wizard or a sorcerer, I recommend that mostly to people who have played a little bit before, unless you're really into like keeping track of things and you're good at being organized and stuff. Because it is a little bit more work than playing a fighter or a barbarian or a cleric.
Or a rogue.
yes. Then we almost get into our next question, and that is how to create a character, that we can discuss the ways in which we come up with concepts for our characters.
Yeah.
Okay.
Character, Burnhill. Kitty had the best.
Oh, how did you know?
Oh god.
And also Kitty asks, hey Ingrid, I want to try the Dragon Age RPG thing. Did you find a group in Oslo? Do you guys have space for a newbie?
Honestly, we got 3 groups going at the moment,
Yeah,
so I don't know if space is available. But
no, we're kind of full up right now. But I would ask around if there are people who are interested in Dragon Age, because there are lots of people, and maybe you can find some people abroad and play online. And you can always download the rule book and just have a look at it and stuff, because they do.
not that we say that people should download rule books.
No.
No.
She
You
meant
can buy
buy
it
the
at
PDF.
Outland.
Buy the PDF.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
buy it at Outland. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or have a look at Outland. Yeah. So we got together because, we were a group of Dragon Age cosplayers, and we fancied taking it a step further.
I got bullied into it. No, seriously, Kitty. From me to you, I'll do the same thing that I did. You want to play the game, get the rule book, be the GM yourself, because you get to play every character they don't. You know, you get to play the villain, you get to play your avatar character, which is the character you play, but as the GM to help guide them. You play the Gandalf, you play the Dumbledore. They're all old people, I don't know why. But you basically get to be involved anyway, and you get to get your friends involved in it.
And don't feel intimidated that it's a big rule book, because everyone starts out as a newbie GM. Everyone is GM for the first time, sometime.
And
So-
also a lot of
Good.
No, go for it.
a lot of the books will also state very clearly that the rules are only guidelines. You make up your own story and you can make up your own rules. The important thing is that you're supposed to have fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wonderful thing about Dragon Age is that it's a very simple principle engine. You basically have one role. What is GM?
What is a GM?
Good
That is a
question.
very good question. It's
Genetically
a game master. It's an abbreviation of the word game master.
Yeah.
It's the person who basically is in charge of the narrative of the game. That's the person who makes up the what can we say? The storyline that the players follow. And while that might sound boring, it is actually a lot of fun, because you get to decide what these players are gonna have thrown at them, and they will surprise you, and they will choose things that you didn't expect, and then suddenly you're like, oh, well, that took an unexpected turn. So you get surprises too. So it's a lot of fun, and just find a group of people who know that you're fresh in the game, and be honest about it, and let them help each other.
That's true.
That's the best way to run a game. Rick always uses his players to sort of feed the game, and asks his players what they want out of the game.
I'm not doing all the work.
And he's not doing all the work. So use your players' wishes and sort of aspirations for the game to make the game.
But you know what? It actually it's kind of tied into the question at the moment. How do you make a character? Well, people think of characters in terms of D&D poorly. Allow me to reiterate. When you think of a D&D character, you think of a class. You think of like a race, and that's it. It's like you're just a dragonborn barbarian. The character part comes into making that stat line, that title, something living and breathing, which basically has feelings and has motivations, dreams, nightmares, beginnings and endings. It's got a story that's worth you bothering with. You know, now that might be cut short by their inevitable and untimely demise, but I prefer a system whereby a death is only good if it's like a Ned Stark death. Ergo,
If it means
if your character dies, it's worth it.
Yeah.
As in, by their death, your other players go, oh, that person killed him. We have to avenge him or fulfill his dreams for him and things like that. The point I'm trying to make is you have to bear in mind that when you start your character, he's not finished. Yeah, you basically kind of any point say, oh, and by the way, I've been working with the GM, and here is my evil twin brother. Dum, dum, dum. Oh, you never spoke about him, didn't I? There might be a reason for that.
Yeah.
I think something that a lot of people do, and there's a good reason why a lot of people do this when they first start RPGing, and they're making a character, is that they take inspiration from characters they like.
Yes.
That have already been made in literature or movies or games and such, and you say, I really like this character, so I'm gonna take this concept and make my character on it. And as long as you make some small changes, so it's not a blueprint copy, then that's a really good way to start, because you want to change something up, because that gives you a twist. It makes it yours. So say, for example, that you really, really like Solus, for example, in Dragon Age. And you say, okay, so you can't do the whole I'm going to use another character because Solus has so many spoilers knitted up to him.
Ogren.
So say, for example, Ogren. Who is an alcoholized womanizing fiend of a dwarf with a really foul mouth. And he likes hacking things to pieces. So you really like Ogren, and you think, okay, that's a really general fantasy concept. A alcoholized dwarf who likes to kill things. That's pretty classic. And then you can just take that and make it your own, and find some small bits. Why does he drink? What's the reason that he drinks? And maybe you can even say, okay, actually, I'm going to take this concept, but I'm going to make it a female dwarf. Why does she drink? And you find the reasons for why that character is the way they are. And then you leave room for them to improve or get worse. At least just room for them to grow and evolve. And there you have a character.
Turn into the villain of the next adventure.
Turn into the villain.
I need to add one thing to this, though, because sometimes you have this perfect character design in your head, and then you roll your stats, and your stats does not match your design. Then you have a problem, because you can do think that you want to have. You don't? You're planning to be this super smart character, and then you get 0 intelligence? That's a problem.
That could be a problem.
But, I would say, though, the solution to that sort of problem is that...
Take it till you make it.
I'd say a good GM would say that, okay, you can, when you roll up stats, and when we say roll up stats, that's basically
random.
When you make a character, a lot of systems demands that you roll dice to decide what kind of statistics their personalities are made. For example, intelligence, strength, charisma, and all these different things. And that's the stats. That's what we mean when we say stats. Yeah. So a lot of system demands that you roll dice so that it's random and you can't really control it. However, a lot of GMs then say, okay, if you have say 8 stats that you need to roll dice for, you roll dice 8 times to get all these stats, and then you're like, I'm really not happy with this. I don't feel like I can work with this. Some GMs will then say, okay, you're allowed to take these 8 different numbers and place them as you would like. So you don't have to place them at the slot they were rolled for. Yeah. You can distribute them as you wish. So if you roll 0 intelligence and you roll 18 in strength, and you want this really intelligent elven scholar mage, and you really don't need 18 in strength, but you could really use that in intelligence, and you can swap them. Yeah. So, yeah.
All right, kiddies. Most GMs won't tell you this, but in virtually every RPG book, there is a alternative customizing ability scores thing. Doohickey.
Alternative customization of ability scores.
Yeah. Don't forget the doohickey. Anyway, it says, for example, D&D 5th edition, customizing ability scores. Right there. You get to choose it.
Yeah.
Dragon Age has another one as well.
Yeah.
It's in there. You just got to complain loud enough.
Yeah. And I mean,
So,
oh yeah, no, it's because you guys have talked about coming up with the concept for your character beforehand. Some people like to do it the other way around and just create the stats and choose the class for their character and then create a personality.
This is fun because if you get like 0 charisma, you can have like a half-burned face or something. That's amazing.
That's the first thing you thought of.
Or just like they were raised by orcs,
Yes.
and they have absolutely no concept of social table manners or etiquette or anything. Yeah. So they'll go in like, okay, we have like a halfling who was raised by orcs for some reason. Who knows? He was entertaining. And and he comes into society, he's just this horrible burps at the table and all those things. So that would be an amazing concept.
I've got to play that.
That's how ideas start.
There is actually another element to this which we're kind of skirting around a bit, which is definitely worth mentioning. Every character we make has an element of ourselves in it.
Yeah.
Even if it's nothing like ourselves, it's basically what we want to be like. Possibly. There's a huge discussion about this going on at the moment because you have in America something called narrative therapy. Now that's basically when you use a narrative that runs alongside a struggle you're having yourself as a personality, be it social anxiety or depression or something, where you get to gain experience to handle that said problem at a safe distance, or what's called as an aesthetic distance. Say, for example, traditionally you would get involved in a drama show of, I don't know, Christ, Macbeth, because you don't like Scots people. I'm not very good at the examples. The point of it is, through the experience of being involved in that play, you actually improve your abilities to put up with said Scots people. I have so many Scottish friends who are going to be sending me abuse tonight. Good stuff. But now there's a group called... do you know what? I'll put it in the link because I was at my other computer. I don't have it available here, but there is a group which is currently running D&D sessions which help autistic kids, people with social anxiety disorders, like really serious ones, with every other type of ailments, play the game with characters they've created using parts of themselves, like an element of themselves they like to improve, or a part of themselves they're proud of. Doesn't matter. An element of truth to it. And then they play these games where the GMs devise scenarios which inherently allow them to tackle phobias or issues. So you have people who are so high up on the autistic scale that they can't look at people in the face, having intrigue sessions where they actually outwit an entire courtroom of people. And it's really something to see that this is actually happening. So if you are out there right now watching this thinking, I could never get involved in an RPG group because people scare me. One, you're not alone. People scare me all the time. Yeah. I'm keeping a distance here on purpose. Ow! See? But betrayal! It's the perfect opportunity for you to actually create a character that's something to do with yourself and just go for it. Get out there and experiment with playing characters you'd like to be, or playing around with something about yourself which you'd like to improve, or something like that.
Yeah, because
it's a lot of fun.
Also,
but it's you control.
Yeah, Eric Tiller says in the chat also that social strata is a good way of creating characters. Like a posh noble who has a strong distaste for mud and pine cones will have different life goals than a mercenary who is low on coin. So yes, that's an important thing to think about. Like my mage in Fateful Fumble, Vala, hates nature because she's a spoiled circle mage.
And also Eden says, she says that, where did I find this? No, it was Kitty Petra who said that she had an elf ranger in D&D who refused to make fires because she worshipped the woodland god and was not to destroy the wood.
So yeah.
Well, in that, I would say if you ever had a bad day at work, Try playing a berserker and carving up an entire tavern of people.
Yeah.
It's so much good. It's amazing therapy, especially when the GM is trying to make a scene where you walk into a room and there is a person at a desk and you've just been betrayed 3 times. So while he's describing the scene, you say, "I stab him in the back 3 times." At which point the GM's frozen and is like, "Are you sure you want to do?" "Yes, I've already done it. Past tense." And at this point, you notice that the person is chained to the desk and is quite old and frail, and it doesn't matter.
I want
It could
to
be
kill
a
them,
demon.
basically. Yeah. Right. Okay. So, to summarize, just think about where does your character come from, what kind of flaws do they have, and then play on those flaws, and then also find some virtues, like what are they really good at, and you'll have a good place to start building a character that has some real personalities and isn't just perfect in every way, because that's
And sometimes you also need like 2 or 3 sessions to get your character concept.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Get off the runway.
and your character will always develop.
Yes.
I've found
Like-
very often I've made a character and I've got an idea of the background story, and sometimes I've written a background story, and then I start playing the game and I realize that this isn't really working with the dynamic of the group or the chemistry, and so it's just like, or for my part, I'm kind of like, I don't really like this, and you're allowed to change. You're allowed to change things.
Yeah.
Tonya, were you about to say something, by the way? Sorry.
It's okay. You know me. I'm like,
Yes, you're a bit quiet.
yes, I am. I usually tend to, when I create characters, I always go for elves, and often male elves, and often red-headed male elves. That's what I
Why
like.
redheaded?
Red-headed male
Yeah.
elves.
Why red
Just-
though?
She likes redheads.
Fiery.
Ah, cool.
And I think redheads are dead sexy.
You know what? That's not an element I wanted to talk about, but sure. When you're making a character, it's like you could make the person that you would most likely want to
Bang.
buy a beer for or something, whatever.
Just getting it out there.
Hey, how do you think Dorian Parvis was created?
Exactly.
Here's the
All
Dorian.
But sometimes also when you do role playing, I think it's important that you can sometimes get into weird situations. Like if you try to, seduce someone to do something and then you suddenly roll a natural 20 or you get like a really high roll, you may sometimes happen to come into situations that you're not really, want to. And then it's perfectly fine to just call time out. Can we please just talk about this for a moment? You're allowed to take breaks if it gets too intense or if you get into subjects that you're not really comfortable role playing.
There is a meme on that unexpected turns of events thing in RPGs, specifically fantasy-based RPGs, where there's this warrior who is trying to intimidate an orc, and they botch their die roll.
Natural one.
So hard. And the GM just looks at them and says, all right, so instead of intimidating him, you're basically, you've made him fall in love with you. and you find that you have feelings for the orc too, and the players go with it, and so the story goes that they end up married happily ever after, and then they introduce each other
Things
to
like that happen all
their
the time.
parents.
Yeah. Expect the unexpected, I would say.
Yes.
Because love knows no species.
Yeah, we're way over time, by the way, but we're just gonna do it because our viewers like overtime anyway. So let's move on to the next question, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
How do you get a game started, and how do you play once everything else is settled?
Keep it answers to a short minimum.
Ooh, how do you get a game started?
Set a date.
Yeah, the practicalities, obviously, find a date when everyone can do it.
Yeah.
But if you mean more like in-game, how do you sort of start up the narrative, the story? That's pretty much up to each group to its own. I
No
suppose.
taverns. No taverns.
But actually finding some sort of reason why these different characters would go on an adventure together is a very good place to start. And doing so is usually helped if you make your characters have relations to each other. In the Dragon Age campaign, for example, the two elves know each other or knew each other from before and have a relationship which is that of a brother and sister. And then they met up with Greta's character and my character, who met each other on the road and have been travel companions. So they both, these four people had at least two people they knew already, or one person they knew in the group already. So it's a lot easier to then knit it together instead of, for example, having 4 or 5 people who have no real reason to trust each other or join on an adventure. So finding relations inside the group before you start the game is a very good starting point.
Dresden Files. Dresden Files, which is an offshoot of the Fate system, or Fudge, as back in the day when it was mixed. Uses a fantastic system, which I would highly recommend for any game, because you can actually use it. You get a piece of paper or a card, and you write down something like a small story where you say, my character finds out he is destined to be betrothed to the Ogre Queen. You see where I'm going with this. But he manages to get out of the marriage binding and then you hand the card to someone else, and then they include their character in the story, and that's something you can do like 3 times. So before the game's even started, you have history with each character, and you have these small tales you can expand on.
Or you could just do it without writing it down and just talking to each other.
Yeah,
Some people aren't that good.
But there's also if you're not sure how to tie everything in together, if you have an experienced dungeon master, game master, storyteller, what have you, he can also determine that, okay, this is how you guys met and this is why you're together. If you want to just steamroll it and make it easy. Or you could all just start by role-playing your characters one by one and just tie yourselves together in the first session.
Yeah.
Like
Other good
story.
Other good options are that you've all become part of the same organization. For example, in Dragon Age, you could all be agents of the Inquisition. I like the Kestrels. Yeah. Or you have signed up for a bounty hunt, which allows people to team up together to find bounties. Or maybe you all have a common interest in finding a particular thing or enemy.
The Brotherhood of the Ring, the Brotherhood, like that's
the Fellowship of the Ring.
Fellowship of the Ring is good stuff.
There you go, or Thorin's Company.
Yes.
There are actually 2 other ways you could do things as well. The one I like is called the sudden intervention, which is basically where you have people. You find it a lot in RPG games, like in Skyrim, you wake up on a cart. In Morrowind, you're on a boat. Oh, you just woke up. It was a nasty dream.
Lots of Elder Scrolls games.
A lot of Elder Scrolls use that mechanism. And you can use that with other people all waking up in the same location. What a party that was. To discover that they are in danger. And danger really brings the group together. I use that a heck of a lot, actually, especially with dream stuffs. But one thing I've been toying with is inspired by the Mass Effect style, especially Mass Effect 2. Or a companion style, basically, is where you start off with, say, a GM and 2 players. And then you introduce those characters with their own kind of backstory, and then you go out and the next time you play, you include the 3rd player, and the story is about that player's being introduced. So, for example, you essentially are involved in that character's backstory from the get-go. You have to actually help them out so they can be recruited. Same way that you get companions in Mass Effect 2.
Cool.
A lot of really great inspiration for a way to start the game.
I will also say this is a little bit of talking about our own stuff. In the first episode of Fateful Fumble, which we do with Rick, It's called The Setup, and in this one we talk about all of these things. We introduce our characters, talk about their backgrounds, and we discuss, okay, how did we meet each other? And then Rick kind of brings us into the world after we decide these things. So if you want to see how you can start the first session in the first game, then The Setup in Fateful Fumble is a really good place to start watching.
Also, I just have one tip. It is because I've done a lot of theater and improv work, and I've learned a lot of improv techniques when I was younger. And one of them is always say yes. Never say no. I'm not going to do that because my character didn't do that. But you're allowed to if that's the personality of your character. But try to work as a team. Just try to make it work and not just go off and do your own stuff, because that would be just havoc and total mayhem.
Yeah.
Tonya is like an
I've
evil
actually heard of that
mastermind.
somewhere.
Yes, Mr. Ball.
Yes, Tonya is being fantastic.
That cat is just expecting something bad to happen any minute. I was
This is
like,
His face is
I
like,
only get petted like this when I'm about to get my temperature shaken.
yeah.
No, I've heard
Betrayal.
of that before. There's a what was it called? Yes and.
Yes, and it's a very common theatre technique. So yeah, that is a very good,
It's a good one. It's a very good one.
good tool to use, because it drives things forward. The moment you start saying no, you stop the ball from rolling, or the dynamic, and you slow the tempo down. So saying yes and is a very good exercise for good interaction, and listening to the other players and what they bring to the table is a good thing, because if you sat in a group and you're just thinking about the things you want to do, then you're not taking into the consideration that other people are doing stuff as well. So suddenly you might be sitting there thinking, oh, I'm going to do this really cool spell and it's going to be awesome. And then suddenly you find out that, oh, but the others have already started solving the problem another way.
I hate that.
Without your spell. So by listening to your fellow players, you increase the chance that you'll be able to provide useful and fun input.
Team leaders are really useful, by the way, especially if they're natural in terms of the players. When they can actually tell people, all right, you work on this, you work on this. I'll just sit here and look really commanding.
Yeah.
But, that reminds me, actually, a lot of players that I've played with tend to be ex-cosplayers. Not cosplayers, sorry. Oh, God, brain melted. LARPers. Live-action role players, which in Norway is slightly different to what you're used to in the UK. In the UK, it's more fireball, and in Norway, it's more I have feelings. But basically, I went to one. Yeah, it was a good summary, wasn't it? Yeah.
Your poor cat, Tonya.
You broke the Tonya under cat.
But in one of the best LARPing situations I've been in, I encountered something which was really thought-provoking, because in the toilet there was a book. And written in this book were notes out of character from all the different players who were constantly in character. And there were things like, ask me about my ears, or things like, I'm grumpy, find out why. And I thought to myself, this is great, but no one's doing it. No one even bothered. People writing it more than they read it. That's like what most people do in RPG games. You think, I want my character to experience, I want to experience this via my character, but what really makes it different is when you start saying, what can my character deliver to yours? You know, like, for example, a person is best described by their reactions to their environment, and their environment includes the other characters.
Yeah.
So if someone starts setting fire to a forest because they know it's the only way to get the enemy out, and the other character's like, I like trees, dick, then it's like suddenly you learn that they like trees. Or if they have like a great deep-seated phobia of water because that's how their parents died, no one gives a crap. No one's going to ask you about it. Hey, do you like water? Let's talk about water for 15 minutes. So, it's just, talk to the players out of character Get some like scenes developed with the GM so everyone else can experience it. Be a co-writer in your own campaign. It's a lot more fun, especially when you get to co-write a whole episode which is about you dealing with your ex-husband or something like that.
Yeah.
That's also a really good advice for game masters.
Yes.
If you don't know what to do next, if you kind of finish your first adventure and you're like, what do we do next now?
Where do we go?
Talk to your players and use their background story for their characters, just like you do in, for example, Dragon Age. You go on the personal quests for all your companions, and that's a really cool thing to do in RPGs as well. Make one session about one player's character and their background story, and next session about the next player, and then you do that, and that will knit the group together. That will knit the characters together. They will get closer relationship with each other, and you have something to do.
Yeah.
Is Anita frozen? Okay, good.
No, I'm good. I'm just really good at sitting still.
That's a skill.
Yeah. But I think we should move on to the next one.
Yep.
Question?
Question?
Question, yes.
Vegetable.
If we have the time, I guess we don't have the time. So it's Fateful Fumble promotion.
Well, it depends. If people want to see like character creation, like really quickly, like we can do it. So it kind of depends on the audience. If they want to see us like make up characters on the go, we'll just give them some time in the chat to write in and say so. And if not, then we'll just end the show, and let's just talk about Fateful Fumble while we wait for people to respond.
Sure.
Yes. Okay.
What do you want to know?
Yeah. What is Fateful Fumble? What is the background story?
All right. Well, Fateful Fumble began a long time ago. Actually, it has been a long time now. When I don't know who approached who, but we started talking about doing something inspired by Critical Role. But we wanted, because we were worried about getting into trademark problems online, we wanted to try and make our own system. So taking a open source system like Fate, we started working on our own world, which was a lot of fun. But ultimately, it took too long. Real life got in the way, and then suddenly, a few months later, I ended up doing a lot of Dragon Age with some of the cosplay groups that I was with.
Half a year.
It was about half a year to a year. So it's between 6 and 12 months. But long story short, I felt like I owed the CosCast group a RPG, so I proposed that we did Dragon Age set in the same world, but further away from the core events of the games that I was playing over here. And it went from there. So that's how that started.
Yeah, pretty much. And because we all love Dragon Age so much, we were like, yes, we want to do this. So yeah. But it's been a long time in the making, so we're happy that we're actually making it work now.
And it's also really, really fun that there's other groups that's playing the same universe, and that we might have something to say, like with each other's groups and stuff. Things we do might have consequences for other groups, and that's
or
really
maybe
cool.
we'll have guest players from the other groups join us.
Well, I have spoken to a friend who actually cosplays as a Red Templar. I don't know if I should mention her name or not. Is it rude to do so? No. I won't mention, but she knows who she is. She's amazing. And she's been giving me amazing tips on the costume, the character behind the costume that she has, which is the Red Templar, who I loved as a believable villain type. Which I'll be definitely using because that's what it's all about. You get these people who come up with an amazing costume that's quite original. There's usually a character behind it, and you think there's a lot of work and love that's gone into this. That's going to save me time. So you can steal that. But this thing's grown exponentially. It's really intimidating sometimes, but it's a lot of fun, and I hope it remains to be so.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So
That's
so
the important
basically,
part. Have fun.
Yeah, so we'll be doing Fateful Fumble hopefully once every month for now, because that's all we have time to, sadly. And we would love to do it more often because we can't wait to play the next episode, which is on the 17th of March.
Yeah.
It's already half written.
Yes, on Friday. On Friday. We're so excited. So people who want to see episode 2 and Fateful Fumble can join us on Sunday. Just like
Friday.
Friday, sorry. On Friday. Just like our page on Facebook, Fateful Fumble, and follow us on YouTube. And also follow Betrayal Raven, which is our sister group in the same universe, in the same timeline, where Ingrid is, and Heresetai, and Wizelet, and Bez, and Rick. So yeah, there will be a lot of RPG fun stuffs from us in the future. And
yes.
yeah. And people
2017 is all about the RPG.
Huh? What?
What? I was just saying, I don't know what I say.
He was rambling.
Sometimes I
He was
speak
rambling.
and I don't remember what I've said because it's been
Right.
said. Why do I need to
Words
remember?
come out and then they disappear from his brain.
That was it. I was just saying 2017 is the year of RPGs because I said so.
Yes.
Said so.
We agree.
All right. And the chat says, do it. Yes, go for it. And Varric voice, you know you want to.
All right, cool. I'm going to make this
So we're
really
making-
quick then.
We're making characters. It's happening.
This is based off a really stupid system that I learned when I was studying in university, okay? I'm going to reverse it because it's a lot more fun like that. You're going to need whatever you're sitting on with your ass.
Okay.
Work with
Yes.
me. Now, the thing is, when you're creating something, usually it can be overwhelming. You know, when you get right, blood, anything like that, it's because creation is essentially an infinite choice, okay? You literally have so many options that you don't know where to start. When you break it down into certain rules, like, okay, it's going to be a sci-fi thing, then the amount of possibilities gets reduced. You have a hard rule to work by. Now, you may change that rule later on, but it means that you get closer to something which you will start to love, start to invest yourself in. Keeping that principle in mind, I want you to stand up and take a look at what you're sitting on.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's a chair.
Okay.
It's gonna be
Office
there,
chair.
right? But I want you to really look at the chair and kind of describe it as a personality.
Right.
Fluffy.
is it a
grandma
new-
style.
You really want to get into like the abstract of this. Don't just say it's wooden. You know, you win.
Okay.
Is it old? Is it ornate? Is it archaic? Is it durable? Worn?
Posh grandma.
Posh grandma stool.
Push grandma.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
That's
Everyone in
You can
Norway
see.
got like old people chairs.
All right. Well, I've got a good concept for mine, at least for my chair.
Mine too.
Yeah. Okay. So I can start. My chair is a black office chair with a little bit of leather, and I have some like fur on the back here, so it looks really nice and really stylish. But it's super cheap. So basically,
Posh spice.
so
Obviously a card.
So basically, what I'm thinking is that my chair is a rogue who looks the part, like has the cool out gear, has the daggers, has a little bit of black fur trim around its neck, but is utterly shite, such a poser. Like, can't even pick a basic lock. He just wants to be one of the cool kids. He just wants to be one of the cool kids, and you know, he's just kind of like Gildehart in Harry Potter. Like, oh yes, well, I've totally done that when I was like 5, and totally has not. So yeah, that's my concept for my chair. That would be the character.
Oh my god, what a good
Sad. I feel so bad for him. High charisma though, man.
Very high charisma. He'll sell any lie. That's the only thing he's good at. Lying.
This is a Will Wheaton role.
Yes. Absolutely.
Oh, God.
Failing all his
all
lockpick checks.
the lockpick checks.
I have a concept for my chair, but I'm not sure what kind of class this would be, so I would need some help.
Okay.
Yeah, ready? Yeah, this is a careful and very comfy kind of character, kind of this mommy type of thing who always makes sure that all of her the people in her group are fed and are warm and everything's on point and everything has to be neat all the time. So this is the character that kind of feeds you and keeps you warm, washes your clothes. What kind of class could that be?
Oh. That could be anything, really.
It
I mean,
could.
that's kind of one of those qualities which could be nailed onto
say
all sorts.
cleric
Yeah,
Cleric would be
that's what I
obvious
was
choice.
thinking
Or
too.
priest.
Cleric.
or a priestess.
Yeah. Or
A
like
priestess
yeah.
of sort of healing and life.
It's like Win, spirit healer.
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
Win.
this is Win
Yeah.
basically.
This
Mm.
is a healer who's like very sort of
Caring.
caring and
The exact opposite of Teresa's character. Hi, Teresa. I'm going to point out the group for Teresa, which is the Twain group. They wanted a mage. Everyone was like, it's okay. Teresa's playing a mage. She'll be a healer.
Nope.
She wants to be a death mage. She wants to cast death magic.
I'm the healer.
Anyway,
And-
My dwarf warrior. Anyway,
Aiden says, "I love your chair, Sunniva."
Yes, look at it. Look at this Win cozy chair. It looks amazing. This is actually made. Yeah, it's made by my grandma.
Aww.
Special.
That is really sweet.
All
Tonya.
right.
Oh my god. Okay. If I should describe my chair, well, its seat is black, but its back, got this flory thing going on.
Oh.
The thing I can say about it's comfortable for a while, but then I have to, switch positions.
But
and stuff.
it looks tiny.
Hmm.
No, it's not tiny at all. Let me tell you that. Because I got this desk over here, and it got this compartment to slide your chair into and have your feet on and stuff like that. But sometimes, if the wheels are wrongly positioned, you can't get in. So it's kind of clumsy chair, I would say. Clumsy chair. Yes, very clumsy. Black is like
Sounds like a maladjusted chair.
yes, and it got the red hooded thing on. So
It's a slob.
I guess it's like some character who's got a black soul with some flowery thing shining through and red hood. I don't know.
I see a warlock.
Yeah.
Kind
warlock.
of clumsy warlock.
Yeah.
Who doesn't fit in.
it like to
It
be a druid?
struggles to fit in. I'm guessing this is a male chair because it's my boyfriend's chair.
Okay, we're getting really deep with this now.
And, I mean, I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah. But it's a
I
good
like
start.
it.
Yeah.
Can we show, you know what? We got lucky, actually, because these chairs, look at that, right?
We have the same chair, so this will be interesting.
Yeah.
Twins.
Because I guarantee you, what I see won't be the same as what Ingrid sees. Because that's the great thing. The whole point is how you relate to a physical object is actually coming from yourself. It's not like everyone's going to see the same thing, not every time. People are going to pluck things from their background, from their history, from generally what they think of the color red and strange things like that. I mean, for example, when I looked at this one, I just saw the fact that it's an old wooden chair. It was probably quite fancy one day a long time ago, but it's taken that many knocks over the years that you can actually see it going through the wood. The actual the fabric on it is worn virtually pink. It's still got gold heraldic inlays, and I'm thinking to myself, it's a person of nobility who is now homeless and old, and is basically has all of these amazing skills and histories and experiences. He's probably exceptionally good. I'm thinking probably a noble warrior type, who is a bit old in the tooth now, but is very senile. But when he remembers where he is and what he's doing, he's utterly unstoppable. But then he might actually forget and start wondering, where is everyone? They're all dead, Brian. Died years ago. What do you see?
See, I bought these chairs, so I know that they're not that old. So, but they have a sort of old-fashioned look about them. But what I saw is the fact that if you look at the back here,
There's a back?
and I'm gonna just hold it here so that maybe you can see it. That looks like a instrument.
Is it like a
Ooh,
lute or something?
So and with the sort of flashy gold and red, I immediately thought this is definitely a bard. This is definitely a musician, and they are used to looking quite flashy, even if they're not like made of money. Yeah, and it's a chair that's like pretty comfortable to sit on for a long time. So this is a person whose company is pleasing over a longer period of time,
Well, they think so.
or at least they think so themselves. But
It's a very charismatic chair.
yeah, it's a very charismatic chair, but it doesn't like to get its hands dirty or its feet dirty. So they're probably not too keen on sort of getting nitty gritty. So yeah, they kind of act a bit posh. Yeah.
But yeah, so people can really see how different the characters we came up with based on only our chairs are. So this is a really good way of like getting into that kind of, okay, what is my character going to be?
Really fun exercise to do, actually.
Actually.
Can I just ask one question for
Sure.
Ingrid and Rick that's not really on point, but is it a cat in your book thing behind you, or is it dead fur?
This is a fox.
Yeah,
Very
okay.
dead fox.
It's a very dead fox.
Very dead fox.
We found a cat.
It looks very similar.
It does.
I may actually have to scare the crap out of Ingrid at some point and have the feet of that thing like sticking out underneath the chest. So it looks like it's been squished.
Oh no.
That would be horrible.
Very nice.
But as Cecilia says, that was really interesting. So she liked what we did. So that's nice.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say it's not a foolproof principle. It's not always easy, but the idea is that you take what is a physical object and reduce it into what is a personality trait, and then just keep asking the question, why is that? Ingrid, what are you doing?
What's happening?
Just because you said cat, I have to. Whoops.
Spill everything everywhere and ruin my life.
Yes, first and foremost that.
Relationship goals.
No, clean mortal.
Oh, there she is. Hello.
Oh, that is just the cutest.
Yes.
No, mine is computer.
Yeah, he's sitting behind you.
Yes, I know. He's watching you. He's
Yeah.
watching.
It's like it's another cat on the screen. It's
Cat
another
is
cat.
judging. Cat is judging you.
Oh god. I really want to get a hold of a copy of that RPG called The Secret Life of Cats. Apparently it's really fun.
Eric Tiller says someone failed their dex roll.
When
okay.
you start getting into RPGs, you suddenly want to roll dice for everything you do.
Yeah.
It's like, am I gonna eat sandwiches for breakfast today, or am I gonna eat ice cream? And then you roll a die and you get one, and it's like, okay, I have no self-control today, so that's gonna be ice cream.
You're diabetic, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. I have to eat ice cream.
But we have to end it because we've so over time. But
Yeah.
before we do, I just wanted to mention to people that if you come up with some really interesting characters, then you can send them to us on our Fateful Fumble Facebook page, and Rick might use them in a future storyline of the campaign.
Because I'm lazy. I'm so lazy.
So yeah, if you want to see your character concept used in one of our games, send them in to us on Fateful Fumble, and Rick will try to use them.
Yeah.
So I figured that might be really fun.
Try and do them justice as well. That's a lot of fun. I'm hoping at some point actually to do figure out how to do a rather large game involving people on who are playing at the same time elsewhere, where a huge event's going on, people play at home, and basically send the results in of those games so it can be added. Like if someone's doing a fight over a gate, holding the gate against Darkspawn, for example, a Denerim, like whatever, and then they tell me like whether the characters all died, whether they actually managed to save it. Then I could take the results of that and then bring it in narratively to the game that's going on.
Cool.
So everyone is involved in the background.
Yeah.
I think that's for me is like the ultimate experience.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, I'm gonna think about it. That'd be good.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so before we end it for reals, Cecilia wanted us to give a shout out to their AKB performance at Unicon. Their AKB 0048 group is going to have a dance performance, so people should check them out.
Yes.
Yes. And yeah, so thank you to Ingrid and Rick for joining us today and for using time out of their lives to sit here and for almost 2 hours and talk about role-playing games. You guys are awesome.
Thank you for having us.
It's a pleasure, as always. And thank you to our wonderful, wonderful Pandorkables and just people who dropped by during the show and gave us comments and questions. You guys are amazing too, and we love you, and we hope you want to play role-playing games now.
Yeah, I really want to GM now.
Yeah, you should try that. Ryura says, you're all awesome and amazing. Oh, yes, Cecilia says, wait, what have you watched or read this week? Oh, I guess we have to do that too now.
Yeah.
Okay. I've been playing role-playing games because I was in Moss from Friday till today, and we played Pathfinder the entire weekend, and we killed a black maga, which is basically an evil version of Nessie. And it was epic.
An evil version of Nessie.
Yes.
Nessie is evil.
But yeah, so I haven't had the time. I haven't had the time to watch anything, but I did start watching The Fate Swain over on Betrayal Raven.
Yes.
Yes. So I'm going to finish that after this.
Yes.
Oh, Mariana. Oh, my God.
Yeah. Mariana's the best.
Yep.
She's awesome.
Those one out to stab themselves.
Yeah, so
I
what
haven't
have you
really
guys
read
watched?
I haven't really watched or read anything. I've just played Overwatch when I've had the time and worked my ass off, to say the least.
March, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
March
Feeling a deja vu. Shut up, Tracer.
Yeah. Basically the same. I've been working so much that I haven't really had the energy to do like anything basically the whole week. But yesterday I went to the cinemas to watch Kong Skull Island, and
Ooh.
I mean it's a okay movie. I mean it's got good special effects. It's very nicely made. Tom Hiddleston, of course. You can watch his rippled muscles go like, it's like, and but it's very predictable movie. I mean, it's you know what's going to happen. So yeah, it's all right, I guess. And I've just started to watch Critical Role, and it's fun.
So good.
Yes.
It gets better and better. It
Yeah.
really does.
It's so. I mean, by the towards the end, there are so many emotional episodes. I could barely keep myself together.
I got to tell you, we used to play a Stargate variant of Fate for like 2 years, and because we have some laughers, after everyone had left and the game was over, I had her with at least one, maybe two other players continuing on the roleplay experience, talking to each other about their feelings in character. And I'm sitting there thinking, can I go to bed now? I'm done. That's it.
There were
I've clocked out.
I think probably saying around 70 pages of downtime stuff written for that game is not an overestimation.
There's a lot of investment.
Mm.
There's a lot of investing in
Yeah.
those characters. That was good times though.
Yeah, Ramil have said in the chat that she saw Logan and would really recommend it. It was an awesome
See it on Tuesday. See it on Tuesday.
haven't yet.
Yeah.
Want to.
I really want to see it. I
Yeah.
really want to see
I've
And
it.
been
also,
watching
Ramil
Critical
says
Role.
Tom Hiddleston is reason alone to see Kong because tight t-shirts.
Yes, it is. And yeah, one thing I've also been watching, it's a new series because I bench watch series. So if it's 1 or 2 episodes, then they're gone so fast that I have to watch others. But the newest one is Frequency, and it's so cool.
Oh, we're recommending stuff. Magicians.
Oh yes.
If you grew up with
Magician.
Narnia and you grew up with like I don't know, it's just dark. It's so good.
It's a lot of fun.
It's very dark.
I've read the first book in the series, and it was kind of depressing at some point.
Yes.
But
It
probably
is.
the show
It
is
is.
better.
It the show kind of like does a better job of capturing the cynicism, the irony part, the wittiness about it. I've heard that the book's kind of just depressing, and that's it. But the
It
TV
is.
series, it gives you this sense of comedy,
It's
almost.
It's
Very
quite
dark humor.
sardonic.
Yeah,
Very
sardonic.
sardonic.
Good. I like sardonic.
Yeah, I've been watching Critical Role as well,
Better cow.
whilst working on commissions and doing ArthurCon stuff, which has been my life, pretty much. And I'm hoping to. No, I'm not going to say I'm hoping to. I am going to cosplay Pike for ToroCon.
Yes, I want to cosplay Percy so bad.
Do it!
You need to do this.
Percy is
Do it.
precious.
I need it in my life. Maybe not for ToroCon, but sometime this year I want to start working on a Percy.
What is this? From
He's one of the
Critical Role?
characters from Critical
Critical
Role,
Role.
and I love him.
Critical
He's
Role.
like a gunslinging aristocrat. He's so funny. Oh.
He's amazing.
I love that guy's voice.
Yeah.
You know he does the intro scene? And is it
Taliesin
just me?
is amazing.
Talison's an amazing guy.
Yep.
I also noticed, it's one of my pet hates about Dragon Age is that the Avar sound weird. To me, as a northern a person from Northern England, there's like, oh, my lady in Sky used to talk about you lowlanders. I'm thinking, that's just wrong. Go and eat a pie. What the hell are you doing here? And then when I heard Greta do her intro for her Avar character, because she has a heavily accented Scandinavian accent when she speaks in English, it just worked. I don't know why they didn't go with that.
There you go.
It's amazing.
Just worked really well. You guys need to do intros stuff as well.
Yeah, we need to do that. We
Yes.
should record some before Friday or something, or just write them down and do them on the fly on the show.
No pressure. No pressure.
No pressure. But we're going to have to change the link for the next episode of Fateful Fumble because we're going to live stream it through another software program. So I'm going to redo that. So there will be a new link for the next episode.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay, now we really need to end this.
Way past my
Yes, we
bedtime.
have to end it because I need to pee.
I need to see too.
Okay.
Best reason.
And on that, we'll say goodbye, and we'll be back next Sunday. Bye.
Bye bye.